everybody. How you doing today? Tanya here with Adventures for Connection. And I've got Thomas. Say hi.
Hello.
Norma.
Hey, everybody.
And Tracy.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Tracy, you're frozen, your face, but not your audio. So, yeah, it is what it is. I thought maybe we'd just do a quick introduction so anyone in the chat starts to know who we are. So I just thought and sort of how we got here. I thought that would be a good starting point, and I'll do mine first, a little tightening up on it, because I do have a video on YouTube explaining further back. So I came into Adventures for Connection when I was working at Mind Valley, and realizing that as I was doing these seminars, and it was started with personal development. A lot of people start with personal development. My life's not working the way it is. I need help. I got help. I found a coach, a business coach. And with that, I had some one-on-one master coaching. And that coach said to me, your brain is just giving you what you're asking for. You're a very powerful manifester. And I went, huh? I need to reprogram my brain. And so I went down this rabbit hole of trying to learn how to reprogram my brain. I found Mind Valley and actually became a Mind Valley Master Certified Trainer, ran through a few of their programs, and was hosting seminars here in Vancouver, and realizing nobody wanted this information. They already had it. What they wanted was connection. They wanted common unity. They wanted to get to know each other, and they wanted to find like-minded people, because 7 years ago, not many people were on this path per se in the same way. And so after I did that and went to a big event and came to realize that, everyone's telling the hero's journey. All the speakers are saying, hey, here's how I did it. Come be like me. And I was like, I'm going to be me. And so they started to ask us to do things a specific way. And I was like, no, I'm out. And then Adventures for Connection kind of came from that and really launched in. And I've been doing these retreats, and we're going to a few new places. One is Egypt. I go down to Shasta, and I'm sure on the heels of Shasta, I'll be creating a Shasta event. And going down to Sedona, on the heels of Sedona, I'll create a Sedona event. So every time I go somewhere and set up my own container, so to speak, and get to know the place, then it makes it easier for me to do something there and unfold it. And so this was not an easy path for me necessarily. I've been through most of what you have been through, who are on here trying to figure out, who am I? Why am I here? Is this human game really all we are? Well, no. If energy can't be created or destroyed, then there's so much more to this. And so as you start to go down that path, you will start to unfold and realize everything is frequency, everything is energy, it's resonance. And instead of chasing things in the physical, you can actually sit back and go within and draw it to you. And so this adventure is the biggest adventure of our lives, really. Yeah. Thomas, how about you?
Well, I'm a psychic, a medium, a healer, help people with their life paths. There's so much to it. My basic story essentially is I've had these gifts since I've been a kid. I've seen beings, lower, higher vibrational beings. And then when I was about 34, I got pushed into this, and then into mind shamanism. And then I just started healing people. And I wouldn't let anyone stop me. So I know a lot of people are afraid to be judged. But I just was like, this is what Spirit, God, Source, Universe is telling me to do. So I just kicked down the door and just kept going.
Awesome. Definitely. Definitely a warrior. Norma, how about you?
Well, I guess you would basically say my journey began at 33. Because at that point in time, I didn't know who I was outside of anyone else. So from 33, I just started working a lot on myself, reading like a lot of books on, spiritual and self-guidance and all that. So as time went on, I got to know more about myself. I was able to better understand human conditioning just by working on myself. And that helped me to become someone that was able to relate to others so easily. And in that journey, so many people were drawn to me because of that. So as time went on, I think last year was when I was able to get into recognizing what was ultimately going on, because for so long I had gifts, I just didn't see them or perceive them as gifts because of the suppression. So March rolls around this year and things have been like just taken off for me, because I was able to become more and more who I am, ultimately because of meeting individuals like Tanya and Tracy, Thomas, where I just tapped in just like this because I was suppressed for so long. So I have the ability to know when I'm doing travels. I can see spirals and rings in nature. And there's so many other more aspects to me that I'm still coming into and mastering, understanding what they're for.
Absolutely. Yes. And that's once you get curious and you realize that, oh, maybe there's no limitations. And it's just a matter of achieving the next vibration and understanding that one and then leveling up. It's no different than that Zelda game when I was a teenager, but it's way more fun.
Oh, yeah.
Tracy, how about you? You're no sound. You have to unmute.
Okay, I want to make sure there's no more background stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, so I started off, most people know my story, but I think it's out there, but defense business. But when I really woke up, I feel like was more probably around 2005 timeframe. And I started really being interested in, you know, like spiritual stuff. I think it was like Sylvia Brown, you know, that type of stuff, right? The psychic.
Yeah.
And then around, you know, 2012 timeframe, like a lot of us, I kind of really started getting into more of the, I was drawn more to the ascension piece, more to the grid work, you know, that type of stuff. So that really opened me up. And then, you know, of course, 2017 rolls around, and then it was just another awakening. So all of this stuff really is just about, like Norma was saying, like about going inside. And really for me, it was about getting out with the grid work, which we're going to talk about, but connecting with the earth, right? And, you know, raising our vibration and connecting with like-minded individuals. So that's kind of where I'm at today. But I've got a big grid work integration project I'm going to launch here pretty soon, and a new YouTube channel. So this is a whole new avenue for me, right? It was defense the whole time, and now this is a complete switch. And I feel like I'm really coming into who I really am, rather than all that other, you know, 3D matrix stuff. So it's exciting where we're going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's very exciting. And so let's start with that then. Let's start with give us a description, Tracy, of what ley lines are, what this grid work that you're talking about is, and how the people that are listening to this can understand better.
Sure. So there's a lot of different definitions out there of what people, connect with on grid work, right? So I consider ley lines. So let's just start with ley lines. Those are energy lines, right, on the planet. And those are, I consider those power spots. Now, and again, there's different definitions for those. But I feel like, me personally, with we've got a new kind of crystalline grid structure coming online, that those change, right? And so I feel like, and I feel also like, you know, as humans, we're a big part of that. So that's the connection with the earth. We have codes in our DNA. It's basically that 12, the chakras and the 12 tree structure that they talk about, the tree of life. Yeah. We have that connection, right, with the earth lines and with the energy lines in the grid. So that's why I always say, you know, it's, if you can go out, it's no coincidence we live where we live, because we have codes in our DNA. And so when we move and we shift to different places, we carry those codes with us. And that's really what part of the ascension is about. That's how we activate certain parts of the earth and in certain areas. So some people, like I said, they may have strict definitions, but I feel like it's more about us connecting with the earth. And, you know, as far as power spots go, yes, there's ley lines, but you might find one in your backyard, right? You might find that there's an energy line there. And maybe sometimes what I'm finding too is maybe that's only for you, right? Maybe that's your own connection with it. So that's what's beautiful about this. And then when we all get together, as we did in Georgia. And, I went down and met with Rex. It was just explosive. So, that's the big part of it. That's fun for me, is connecting people, connecting, like what Tanya's doing, connecting people and getting them back to the earth.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot to this project. I mean, it's going to involve ley lines. It's going to involve mapping. There's an elemental aspect to it. There's an indigenous piece to it. So it's just kind of all coming together.
Absolutely. And just so you guys know, I literally within a couple weeks went, oh, I'm supposed to go to Georgia. It was like boom, 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 booked a flight, booked a place. And then we just did what we were called to do. And so that, Tracy and I were hiking up a mountain, and wherever I go, I leave crystals. And right now I encourage everyone, take crystals, take whatever crystals you want and start planting them in earth, because you are going to help shift the vibration for all of humanity and all sentient beings. So just do what you're called to do, because that's a really big way of helping to do an energetic shift, because that vibrates through earth and holds us even in a different resonance. So we hiked, what was the first mountain we hiked?
It was called, I think it was Yona in Georgia. So I have this on Google Earth, I can share it, but that's the first place we went to. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yona.
You should be able to click on the present button at the bottom. Can you see that one in the middle?
Yep.
And then you should be able to choose your screen. How do you, Vesna is asking, how do you detect a ley line? Well, most rivers and streams are a form of ley line because energy is traveling along there. Some you can look at as, there are some maps, but some of them will be changing, and they're always changing. I use dowsing rods. You can dowse over a map if you have a tool that you like to use, whether it be a pendulum or rods, or if you're really good with your fingers, you can use this one. You can use your body to dowse it and say, ask if it's here, just to help connect. But Vesna, if you want to let us know where you are, we will have a map up in a bit that will give you a general idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And thanks for the question. Any questions, you guys, go ahead and ask. Quite often we don't know what we're not saying until you ask the question. Absolutely. And we'd be nothing without you. So it's important that you're here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important. That's what this is all about, right?
Yeah.
Coming together and yeah.
Yeah. Vesna, you're in Calgary, Alberta. So she's in Canada. Yeah. You've got some important points around you. Well, and in Upper BC too, something in the Caribou. That's an important energy spot. So definitely, if you're not in my channel, grab in there, because I'm going on the road soon to do a little trip up there. And I'll be stopping in there. I'll be in Rocky Mountain, Alberta. Yeah, for a little bit of a family reunion. So not too far from you. Awesome. Did you get that figured out, Tracy?
Yep. I got it figured out. So I've got share screen. So I've got it out.
Okay. Oh, there it is. All right. Perfect. We're just going to pop this up. I can add
everybody. I have everybody's a lot of ley lines on here, just so you know. So that's why it looks kind of busy.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yona Mountain is where we were at, Georgia. So I'm just going to
perfect
over there. So I have what are called universal grid lines on there that I have some of those turned off because it's too much. But that's where we were at. So I'll zoom out a little bit so people can see. Just give it a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's caching there. Yeah. So that was and I have a few other things turned on here, but those were the areas that we were at. So Yona Mountain, so we can zoom in a little bit on that. Northern Georgia. And there was a pyramid there. And I think I've got a photo of that in there. And a mound site that was in there. Zoom in a little more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So can you explain what a mound site is before you get too far there?
Yeah, so mound sites are a lot of those, if anybody's heard of the Mississippi mound builders.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those were some of the, according to, what we have for mainstream history, they tell us that those were burial mounds. But what a lot of us think is that, and they even say those in some of these mound sites, is those are a lot of pyramids that were buried there. So there were some very advanced cultures, and my feeling is that a lot of those were actually, well, connected to Mayans. right? And they talk about that a bit with the History Channel and stuff like that. But I feel like even some of that goes back to Atlantean times.
Yeah.
I really do. And there's, mound sites, and they also have, they found, different pottery and things like that. And they're scattered all over pretty much you'll see them a lot in the Midwest and the South. So I know there's a lot in Georgia. There's quite a few in, if anybody's visited Serpent Mound in Ohio, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. There's Cahokia mound sites in Illinois. That's another area. So I have all of those pretty much on here. I don't know if that gives a good enough description of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It just helps to bring some awareness to it. And so the ley lines are Earth's energy or meridian system is what I like to say. And Vedette Lake in BC is a vortex. So it goes up and it goes down. So they call it the center of the universe, dubbed that by Tibetan monks when they went there. And the beautiful thing about that, it's like a spider web. So if you get a node point, that node point is spider webbing out to all the other points. And that's what's super cool. So you can see what's the node just above that, Tracy, in the top sort of
this white area.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, that's a universal grid point. So I've got some of Peter's stuff overlaid on here.
Okay. And
but
can you tell everyone who Peter is, please?
So Peter Shampoo, and I think I've got him up here. He works with this, it's called geometry of place. And what Peter really works with is the consciousness and connection, right, of people and places to the earth. So he really works with that, and he creates different ley lines and things like that for sacred sites. So I'll bring up his site here, but geometry of place, it's what it's called.
Yeah.
And my plan is really I reached out to him last year to work with him quite a bit on the earth grids, because I like the idea of the consciousness, right, of working with that and working with these different structures. And like I said, they're going to shift a bit. So Peter has done a lot of work on that. Let's see if I can find his Gaia Matrix. Yeah. So here, as you can see, some examples of what he's done. And he's done a lot of work up in, I think it's Vermont area. So you'll see more, like when I show you the maps, you'll see a lot more of the work that Peter's done on those areas.
Awesome. What's the website for the North America ley line map?
I don't know if I've got that one. I've got the Facebook one.
Yeah, that works too. I mean, I'm looking for something just to post in here because people are asking for location areas, and I think it's easier just to post out the.
There's one that's a vortex maps. That's Dan Shaw, I believe. American Ley Line. Yeah, he works with that. I can link some of that in if people want. So Dan Shaw is another one that he has a lot of the vortexes and things like that mapped out. So my plan really is with the project to get everything kind of in a web map, a really like a good web map, and then everybody at their different locations can plot what they want and make it really easy for people. Because that's one of the issues that I'm finding is it's really fun, but everybody has their stuff in all of these different places.
Right.
The map is so cluttered, right? That I've got, it's fun, but at the same time, it would be nice for everybody to have to put their stuff on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there's Vedette Lake. You're bringing that up, and there's definitely some areas around there. And I have a few other people's grid work, ley lines and things like that on here. Maya Nartuman. So Maya brings a lot of information from the Akashic records through.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff through. So some of her stuff is on here as well. So she has, I'll just point this to Mount Shasta, and I'm kind of jumping here, but she has a site that's, I think that's an archive site right now, but Anki portals. Yeah. And those are really significant because those are kind of ascension points for the earth. So again, from Maya's, and again, this is where you get different perspectives. She has a lot of that stuff out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And just so everyone who's local to me knows, there is There is a ley line at Jericho Beach. There's 2, and they do run over. If you go out to Lighthouse Park, there's tons in Lighthouse Park. Tons. I don't know what it is about that space, but there's quite a bit there. Now, some of them, and also energy lines can be, so Thomas, do you have anything you want to add to this so far?
Well, one thing I'm picking up here, and I know about this from doing past lifetime work, is that when you guys are traveling to different sites, you're picking up fractals of yourself, like from other lifetimes. You're incorporating that energy back into your energetic body. So a lot of times you're being called into another location, or you feel you need to go somewhere for whatever reason. I mean, you could be going on vacation, not even know it, but you're picking up these soul fractals, if you want to call it that. You call them many different things, but you're picking up those soul fractals and bringing them back into your being. Or you could contractually have something that you've agreed to in a past lifetime. It's just reminding me of a friend. He went on vacation and he didn't realize it, but in a past life during the Civil War era, that he had to free some slaves and cross them back over. So when he came back, he had to have those released by a former mentor of mine.
Okay, cool. So absolutely. And, you know, I always have this thing where I leave a little bit of DNA as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just seems like it's part and parcel. Norma, do you have anything you want to add about our trip, or, you know, things that we were doing, or what maybe you saw at the other mountain there?
I was looking at when she had the map up, and what's unique is what I was seeing is it looked like it was a mound itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was looking at how it seems as though there was a bit of slope to what was surrounding you on the mountain, because I'm seeing what looks to be like, you know, maybe a bit of a spiral itself, because nature does its own thing and it shows itself if you know what you're looking for. So I was looking, and it looks like it maybe at one time there might have been, and what I'm getting is there might have been a lake there at one time, just by the way that it looked.
Yeah. And that's really important, I think, for us to pick up our own, what we're getting too. You know, a lot of these areas, like, you know, Thomas, you mentioned, you know, you'll be guided to go somewhere. I can't tell you how many times all of us, probably people even in the chat, are just guided and you don't even know. Like, oh, I need to go here today. I need to go to wherever Shenandoah today. Or I don't know why. And
yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely. And do I have any of those right here? I don't have any of regular quartz points, but they're not unlike a Lemurian, which that's a Lemurian point.
Yeah.
That's a Lemurian point. So the reason for the quartz crystals, and it doesn't matter which one, but they're a very good conductor. Think that's how your phone works.
Yeah.
Thinks you have a crystal in your pineal gland. That's how it works. So it's this energy connector to open and expand. And so, yes, Pusheen the cat. That's funny. My daughter loved that. She says, I rub myself with crystals every day. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And yes, Dolphin Dreamer, that's awesome. Yeah, we're definitely working on planting those. And for you, Thomas, Dalene's saying, thank you for taking my brain fog away, or helping with my brain fog.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to add something just really fast. My guides are pointing it out.
Please.
So this is from another lifetime. One of my mentors was given this in Australia. And he was like, the guy that walked up to him, he just handed him this. He's like, this doesn't belong to you, but it belongs to someone else. So like, it's from my understanding that they maybe sacrificed me another lifetime, put me in a wand. But the point is, whatever the energy of that lifetime was, but this thing will open up all kinds of things, but it's hand carved. And I don't know why I'm being told to show this on camera, but I only use it when I need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I have something similar to that. It was a Joshua tree. I think it was a crystal. It was I've got it in the other room, but that looks like that. Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's why the clear quartz, but it doesn't really matter what kind. So this is something, you know, you can see the energy shifting on the planet right now, and it's unstable, shall we say? And so this will help to, whether or not you know it, right, will help. So I've got them all around my house. I've got them all over the North Shore. I've got them over on the island. I've got them in Egypt. I've got them down in Georgia. These are all ones I planted, Vedette Lake. And so I do a specific pattern, and mine happens to be a Metatron pattern, which when the vibration is right, I should be able to utilize those for a bit of travel as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's very cool. Yeah, I usually use the solfeggio. I'll plant those and use the Rife machine, but I think, you know, it's important for everybody to do whatever they feel guided to. You know, I think that's the beauty in it, right? Whether you use a stone or a stick, or maybe you just set intention.
Yeah.
I think that, yeah.
Absolutely. And so, and crystals can also, I guess we get to talk about this because it keeps popping into my head. So crystals grow, not unlike a plant. Therefore, they have a soul. Therefore, they are a consciousness. Therefore, they have energy. So this is why, guys, we are connected to crystals too. We can utilize crystals to help us even. Thomas, you want to add to that?
Yeah, it's the basic structure I'm just channeling of the mineral kingdom. So even crystals you've had, I remember I got a ring in Atlanta at one point, and I went to my mentor. I was like, I don't know why I had to get this ring. Like, and he was like, because you've had it another lifetime. This was years ago. But he's like, you had another lifetime, and you keep finding it lifetime to lifetime to lifetime.
Yeah.
So it has a structure. They have guardians in them. Sometimes they have just consciousnesses, but you find them over and over again. And then you can work with them for different things. Like this wand. I've been told that I find this thing over, like I could lose it for 3 months and then it just reappears somewhere.
Yeah. It's meant to have it. Norma?
About crystals, yeah, what little bit I know, I have an onyx.
Yeah. Good for protection and grounding.
Mm-hmm. The one that I got from you is upstairs. So, but I also have this one that you gave to me when you was here in Georgia. So I really don't have much of a crystal collection like I did at one time because I've moved so much. And when I was going out in the woods and stuff like that, even when I didn't have as much understanding about who I was, I would still leave them in places. So
beautiful. We're just gonna, was that not muted? Just feel like we're getting a little feedback. It's all right. Okay. Awesome. And Cindy over on Facebook is saying, I live near a mountain in Arizona that I know is a buried pyramid complex. There's an ancient ram's head sculpture facing east on the east side of the mountain. I find fire agates there, and when the wind blows a certain way, you can hear sound healing. Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Does she know that she was buried there in a past lifetime?
There you go. Cindy, so you were buried there in a past lifetime. Thomas can probably tell you more.
Yeah.
And that's
really
probably
cool.
why you live there. Yeah, very cool. Yeah.
Cindy, if you know what part of Arizona, if you want to share that, we could plot it.
Yeah, that would be really good. Exactly. Let's add it to the map. And so this is the beautiful part of this too, for everyone to know, for Tracy, and her Telegram is in the down below in the description, is that she's creating this grids. She's going to be looking for information. And so any information you guys want to share is going to be very helpful to get that sort of set up so that we can all benefit from these things, because it's something that's been hidden from us. It's no longer being hidden. It's coming out full force right now. We are like, not only is the veil going away, but all this information has just been like insanely downloaded on us recently about this, for where we can go. And like me finding Ascension Island, right? So, or that Norma found a sleeping dragon in the earth down at the coast. Like there's all kinds of amazing things that we can now talk about and share and not be sort of banned.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so we got lots. Let's go along with some of these conversations. I heard Egyptians loved lapis lazuli. Not sure if that's true. Is that true, Thomas?
Yeah, I keep seeing the scarab beetle is the first thing I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. It was probably part of it. Tracy, I'm just gonna remove your stream for now.
Okay.
Or if you, I don't know if you can pull it out. Are you able to pull it out on your end? Because we're just getting feedback on that. Cool. Thanks, Thomas. And Dolphin Dreamer says, the pond on the property where I am parked in my travel trailer has a vortex. It's interesting to ground under the willow tree by the pond. Sometimes I get really awesome spin feeling. So fun. Cool.
Very
That's
cool.
Connected to the frequency of it. Yeah. Only
That's
those in the know can feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And 17 Key Ranchers, thanks for sharing. I keep rose quartz and clear quartz under the pillow to sleep deep. Yeah. Rose quartz for sure. I think clear quartz might send me into even more of a space.
Yeah.
Personally.
I had too much of that in my bedroom. It was like.
Thomas, thoughts on
I'm
that?
being told to say something. So
yeah.
It's just something Edgar Casey said. So, and they're talking about azurite. I think I brought this up last time I was on too. But Edgar Casey said that azurite was the most psychically enhancing stone. I don't know why I need to bring that up, but I'm being told to remind everyone.
Which was the most psychic enhancing?
Azurite. A-Z, it's A-Z-U-R-I-T-E.
Oh, yeah, azurite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at me flashing. Sorry, I just find it really funny now. That's beautiful, Cindy. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got that mapped for you.
Yeah, there you go, Tracy. Saddle Mountain in Tonopah, Arizona. I knew I wasn't a Native American medicine man. Cool.
That's very cool. Yeah.
All right, and over to the other chat. How do I clear the crystals? I use salt, moonlight, dirt. You can clean some in water, but because some of them don't like water, I tend not to use that much. Any thoughts, Thomas?
I use magnesium oil just because I like to use magnesium oil foot baths. But anyways, it's just because it's salt basically.
Yeah.
I think you do it with anything. I mean, you could use dirt, you could use anything to clear anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just use energy to clear them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on, we'll grab that for you at 17Q. So do not get selenite wet. It charges them. So you know what I do with selenite? I'll put selenite, and this is selenite, in water, and every 3 or 4 months, I put it in there, let it dissolve, and then I drink that water.
Mm.
Yeah. It's gonna, I'm channeling, it's gonna genetically modify the structure of your being.
In a good way?
Yeah, a good way. Yeah. I mean, selenite.
You just kind of left that hanging there.
I didn't think of it as good or bad. It's they're saying our ideas of good and bad are so kind of
wrong,
black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense though, right? Because crystals hold frequency, right? Or they hold codes. So
yeah.
I put mine usually in water and sunlight. Yeah. That's what I usually do.
Yeah, sunlight works too. I forgot about that one. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. So that's how you can clear them. I once ate rose quartz in hope of finding my big love. That was okay. Oh. How did that work out for you? Come on, finish the story.
Yeah.
How old were you? Dolphin Dreamer, dang, my screen keeps freezing. Might have to watch the replay. Try clearing your cache. Azurite, that's right. Linny Levette says, I explored Ascension Island on my Radar 1 weather app. The next day, the app wouldn't open. I tried opening the app for a few days. Nope. Yeah, there's something there. So that one's on the on the it's still floaty. So yeah, we can probably only talk about that one so much too yet. So it'll come. They're using it for the collective consciousness. This is the newest information I got on it, that it is a point of vibration for the collective consciousness to help us raise up. So we should kind of just send good vibes there and not try and dig in too much at this point.
Yeah.
Don't mess with it.
It was like the time that I bilocated into Antarctica. Definitely
Right.
came after me.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
tried to go to that one site, right? And we got kind of warned. What was it? When we were in Georgia, right? We had, we had a little bit of a, don't get out.
Oh yeah. And we also both what was that place that we both had the big, we can ask Thomas about this. What was the spot where both of us were lighting up, Norman? I was like, something's not right. Something's not right. Like, I don't like it. Get us out of here. I don't want to be here.
144?
Yeah, that was the
Tracy.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the place that had the wall, right? The stone, was it Stone Mountain or something that you're going to go back to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know all about Stone Mountain. I don't know what
That's
it
not
is with
Stone
the
Mountain.
energy there. Like,
That's
I
Stone
have no
Mountain.
idea.
One of those areas near Cartersville. It's
Yeah.
going down.
Was
there.
it the Etowah Indian Mounds?
It was
No.
as we was going.
We were going there as we were going there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. The Etowah Mounds actually, they felt really good. I thought they did. I thought they felt really cleared, but I got the sense that they had been using those mounds.
They
That's the other
could.
thing.
They
Yeah.
just want to believe they're burial mounds. I mean, I'm sure they are on some level, I'm hearing, but you can't even really get close to them anymore. Not like when I was a kid. We'd take field trips and walk up and down them.
Yeah. And do we want Thomas to tap in? Can we maybe share the screen again in regards to was it Brassman Mountain?
Brasstown Balls.
Brasstown Ball.
Yeah, got it. It's like, I know.
Okay.
It's okay. I live here and I was still calling it something else. So
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody can see that. I'm having a hard, I can't when I look at the map here and I got that up. So you just have to let me know if you can't. Hopefully you can see it.
Yeah.
So Brasstown Bald it's the highest mountain in Georgia.
Okay,
So
hold on. I'm sharing it. One sec. I just got to do a couple things. We're going to take that off and drop that in. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. So it's the highest mountain there in Georgia. And it's a little, I don't know if Thomas, if you can tune into that at all, but it's kind of right near the border. And there's some Mayan ruins that aren't too far from there.
I'm just seeing different portals and what is that? They're saying they're dragon ascension portals that are around that area.
Big smile on my face.
Some of them haven't been tapped into yet. They need the right people with the right keys.
Yeah.
To unlock them.
Yeah. That's interesting because we were getting that, right? And I've been getting this the whole time, that there's certain people that hold key codes.
Yeah.
And there's also sound that unlocks it too. That like certain frequencies.
Yeah. I think their very energy would just unlock them.
It's us being at the right, it's us being at the right frequency, or those that are supposed to go getting that right frequency and then tuning in while there to draw in the right energy key. Would that be right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, there's just certain key players. I don't like that term, key players, but there's certain key people, I guess that's the right way to say it, or groups of people that could hold these keys that need to, like, it's why I feel like there's certain energies or timelines that are being pushed back farther and farther because we have free will. So like, it's like certain people walking in, like there has to be certain, I'm trying to think how to explain it. There has to be certain like avenues they have to get to, or, levels, but my guides are saying they're kind of getting pissed, and they are, with a lot of people, because they're being pushed, but they're not listening.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hold on, this is important. So all right, so we shared that one, and let's let Norma finish, and then Thomas, I want you to come back to that because there's a channel for you to do around this right now that's really important. Norma, do you want to just tap into, you know, what you were doing there? And Tracy, do we have any photos of that area versus a map?
Do. Yeah, I've got some photos of it. I've got I don't know what's the easiest to open. Let Norma go ahead and talk about what you experienced. Let me bring some stuff up.
Well, when we visited the first time, you know, I was picking up on a lot of the Atlantean being there. As we was going up, and we was coming across what they call rocks. When you look at it, you know it's not rock. You can tell it's petrified wood. And there was one area that when we was coming up, we was standing on top of one of the big petrified pieces. And as I was looking down on it, I was given the vision of it being one of the ships that was used during the process, or during the period of the Atlanteans being there. So I went back a second time, which was, I think it was last Sunday actually. And I went there, and I went a little further out into the woods there, and I found a second one, which was amazing. I haven't had a chance to take those pictures and put them on my computer or send them to y'all, but just a little bit whenever I went last Sunday. But as I was there, what I was doing clearing for just a little bit of the residual of that time period being there. So I was clearing, I was blessing, I was actually leaving I was using rocks because I didn't have crystals. So I used the rocks I was creating the like Metatron grid, the Flower of Life grid, just to help with any other energies that needed to be released that was there that I either couldn't get to, or, you know, hoping that maybe if somebody else showed up there that was led to be there, they would know that this was done, this was left behind, and whatever key they may hold to do what needed to be done there, they would know that there was some of us that had already been there doing some work. So
something clicked, if I can interrupt.
Yeah.
It just totally clicked. So when Atlantis fell, I was a high priest. I don't know if there was a few of us. I have no idea because I can't remember all that. But what I saw is that they were bringing that information when it fell to these certain areas, because we were so concerned about saving the information, even though we were concerned about saving the people, but the whole thing was blowing up and water was flooding it. We were like, we have to get this information somewhere. And what I'm feeling is, or what I'm seeing at least, is that it's a matter of unlocking it. So some of those people or groups of people, however that works, I'm saying, have to unlock that again.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been getting that a lot too. The same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know, and again, guys, the more you get out in nature and explore these things, the more connected you become, because nature will direct you. So when you're in harmony with nature and sentient beings, trees, rocks, plants, birds, all the animals, right? And the elementals, basically, the more you will receive around this, because now you're in harmony with nature. And so as you harmonize, you will start getting new messages. So that was me spending all my time, a lot of time, whenever I'm working in my regular job. And a few years ago, when I would get overwhelmed, I would just go into the woods. That's it. I'm checking out. See you later. Turn off my phone. Away I go. And so that was my way of moving my body to release any energy that was not mine, to get rid of it. but also I didn't even know it at the time, was this real connection. Like I'll go out, I'll eat berries, I'll eat fir tips, I'll eat pineapple, I'll eat anything I know is edible when I'm outside because I'm communing with nature.
Yeah.
So it's good to get to know your area and what do you have there that is sacred, or think waterfalls, think lakes, think rivers, think mountains, think points, those areas that are just kind of a bit magic and you feel good when you're there. Yeah. Yeah. We're getting a lot of the same.
Yeah. I'm going to stop this real quick. My photo editor for some reason is not, I don't know.
That's okay. I shut down the screen already anyway. So
yeah,
it's okay.
Not coming up for some reason. I don't know why. But
yeah, that's okay.
Of course it happens. I had everything up earlier.
Yeah. So we have a question about Atlantis. And Atlantis was all over the planet. Atlantis was not contained in one area. And so somebody's asking, was Atlantis in the Grand Canyon? Well, yes, part of it for sure. Hey, Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I'm going to go with Chiron, he's a popular channeler for like last 20 years. There were like 3 versions of Atlantis. Because when people ask him questions, like, which Atlantis are you talking about? But that's the thing is like the Toltarians, I'm sure Norma's maybe heard of them. Yeah, so like they're connected somehow with Atlantis as well. And it's like what I'm seeing is like there's so many connections here. It's insane the amount of energies I'm seeing with different things. But it's like the Essenes were connected with Atlantis. Like they all just kind of broke apart and started going in different directions.
And so, do you want to just share with everyone what caused that?
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, it was the flood. But it was also a crystal, from what I've seen. There was like a central power crystal, and I did some videos on this on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. But the point of it is that it was like there was a war going on within Atlantis, where it was like, from my understanding, from my training in Mayan shamanism, was that they started working with some really dark energy, and when they started doing that, it corrupted some people. And there was kind of like a war that happened. And I believe they sabotaged the central crystal that was powering Atlantis. And then the flood came. So it like so much was happening at once. So I can't remember all of it. I just remember bits and pieces.
That's okay. That's okay. And so let's just do a general channel for everyone, as I mentioned previously, that if Thomas, you can tap into that. In regards to the different levels of frequency and raising your consciousness, and everybody wants to know that they're ascending to 5D. Can you just give a little message around that? Is that possible?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to be a little rebellious. Apologize. Okay, so they talk about 5D. Now, it's like a lady that lives where I live, in this place. She's like, I go, they've been talking about 5D since the 60s. Like, what about 22D? What about 40D? And that's just the thing is, it's like, I feel like it's, God, am I going to say propaganda out loud? Okay. I feel like it's propaganda. Because when I work, sometimes I have to move into, I might be at 4 and then move into 20 and then move into 40, move into 60, going up and down as I'm not even paying attention to it. Like I'm just doing as I need to do. They're saying the teachings of the old will resonate with different people. It's wherever you're at. It's like if you love Dolores Cannon, which is great. Dolores Cannon was a great teacher, but you might resonate with it now, but in like 2 years, you're like, oh, this is not what resonates. Now I resonate over here. And then I resonate over here. And then I resonate over here. I really like Edgar Cayce because apparently I knew him or something. But I just really like Edgar Cayce. I don't know why. He feels very pure to me. I guess that's the reason.
Someone good. That's a good thing for people to tap into to learn more as well. Yeah. Yeah. And so if these are all different resonance and we have that capacity to tap in, and people are all saying, oh, I just want to go all in on 5D. But in my opinion, we're here for a purpose as well. We have work to do on this level to help others understand that it is a frequency and a thought pattern, and you are able to tap into that when you have, I don't want to say no fear, no, you're not afraid, that you're doing the inner work, that you're clearing your system so that you can become more crystalline, because the more crystalline you are, the more you're going to be able to travel in different ways on frequency again with certain energetic tools that we all have written in our DNA.
And Tanya, with you, or with anyone, sorry, what you said about the inner work, that's the most important. It's like when I work on people, I'm trying to get them to, I can do the energy work, I can give them the information, but they have to continue that path.
Yeah.
It's like everyone wants to get, we're in the society now where everyone wants to get from A to Z. And it doesn't work like that. You've got to go. Like and take it from someone that tried this. Because I was like, I don't need to learn any of this stuff. I'm just going to jump from here to here. And I was successful at it. But the point of it is I had to go back and research everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's just a reminder to everyone that it's you doing the work. It's you getting into nature. It's you cleaning up your diet. It's you figuring out, you all have gifts. Everyone has a gift. Everyone is in just the right place at this time and moment for where we are at, because you're exactly where you plan to be or where you're supposed to be. Yeah. And so it's really important to, I'm going to say this part because it's important, that if you have the emotions running through you of severe anger at certain people or severe anger at, certain events happening on earth, you have to become aware that you're giving that anger away, or you're having that anger really only affects you, and that the goal is to get to a neutral point, because we can't have the light without the dark. We can't have the good without the bad, per se, at this point in the game. This is part of it. This was created. We actually helped create this. This is us that are the shadow. It isn't us and them. It is all us. And I hope that really can sink in a little bit, because that's really important. So, when you're angry at somebody for doing something, it's like, did they do that to you, or did you allow yourself to get angry because there's something in you that needs to be cleared?
Can I tell a little story real fast?
Of course, please do.
Okay, so can I talk about DMT?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I don't recommend people doing it, if they want to, whatever, it's their life, but free will. But I did some, and I'd gotten out of a pretty hectic situation, and I was in my car, and all my stuff packed in there. And my guys were like, do the DMT. And I had some questions about God. They answered that. But then I looked around, and the voice was talking to me, this very loving voice, light voice. And it was like, look around you. Like the situation you're in right now, you manifested this. And I was like, oh, shit. It's like, shit. I get it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You manifest everything that's happening to you. So where's the lesson in that? What's going on? Where's the lesson that I need to learn because of this resistance, frustration, tension, right? And when you can manage to clear more of that, the better it gets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Lenny Levette says, oh, there's a circular Atlantis-like area on Ascension Island. Yes, it's like, it's pretty fascinating. Yeah. And it is in the Q drops. Absolutely. Yeah. We've been talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to go through the comments a little bit more. Pusheen says, I've had the rose quartz, they had to remove the rose quartz, but I found my love. Yeah, sorry. That's such a good story, because she had to have it removed. Okay. Crystals will not necessarily dissolve within the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do recommend actually just being reminded that by putting, and not this big of a piece unless you want to put that in your amethyst in your water, will help your cells to digest and get take in more water, get quenched, so to speak.
The salt.
because right now the way things have been set up and what our diet and everything, they've been splashing on top more and not being absorbed. That's the word, absorbed as much. So that's just a little reminder for everyone. Oh, so Pusheen says, it came just like it came in, it went out hard. Okay, sorry, honey. I just have to laugh with you. So we're all laughing with you about this, eating the rose quartz. Has anyone seen some of these lines show up behind the eyelids? I haven't per se, but it could for sure if you're getting mapping that way. Absolutely, is trying to show you something. Yeah.
And I think too, I'll just chime in here. I think there's a lot of areas too that dimensionally, what I keep getting is we're going to see those. So like some area like High Brazil, they talk about off of Ireland or Bermuda. I just feel like this is coming up to talk about. I think that some of that stuff, I get this feeling out of phase is what I keep getting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody else is asking about 5G, and I'll just tap into that for a second, and maybe Thomas can concur that 5G, as far as I know, it's not even in the phones, but the towers that were created are all being switched to a positive energetic vibration out. Norma's nodding her head.
I feel like it's unnecessary. It's just necessary. I mean, technology is going to advance. Other societies have done this. Other planets have done this. My question becomes, what happens when 6G happens?
Well, what about what if we're moving to a different frequency communication that is based on our frequency?
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be one side of people that go with technology and one side of people that don't.
Yeah.
So right now it's a very beneficial tool. I'm just channeling. It's a very beneficial tool, but I think inevitably people will have to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
They don't like me saying it like that, but that's what I feel.
And yes, Celtic 58 is reminding everyone, please push the like button for us. That'll get us out further. And if you like the information that we're sharing, which we're doing this to share with everyone to help elevate you, to get you to understand what you can do and how you can start to shift yourself. Yeah, that's great. Are we talking about KAREN initials and how to overcome the hate for them? Maybe a little bit, but I think it's more of a general.
I think you have to embrace that. That's the thing. You have to realize that everyone's on their own path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to embrace. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. You have to embrace the love for everyone else. And it's hard. I get it. I understand. But you have to realize that everyone's on their own journey, and we can't if we keep dividing ourselves, we're never going to come together.
And therein lies the inherent issue that this has been a huge division. So doesn't matter what color your skin is, doesn't matter where you were born or where you came from. We are all souls having this human experience.
Yeah.
And so therefore we are all connected no matter what. And so we are just different versions of source. And the one thing we agreed to when we came in was to reflect back to source and go into the Hall of Records, our experience, because we're all having unique experiences. There's not another one of us. Well, there's other dimensions, but on this plane right now, there's one of us having this experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're all experiencing different versions of ascension, right? Each of us is having a different experience with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unique to each and every one of us. So all we can do is share collectively right now. The four of us are here to share our experiences and take what resonates and whatever doesn't. And I can say for myself, I have a friend that had a Kundalini spontaneous awakening in a yoga class of all things and didn't know what it was. And bless her heart, she came to me because I'm super grounded and would download onto me because I'm a huge container and I can take it. And literally over the last, since she did that and has done that over the years, I can just keep, oh yeah, I know about that. Oh yeah, I know about that too. Because she was sharing all that. So as I go through this, I have this beautiful library within me to draw upon. And so that's what we're trying to do for you. Give you a varied library of things to draw upon so that you can better understand. And I remind you again that everyone that I bring on this show is well, I don't want to say interviewed by me, but you know, I know them well. I know their intention. I know their frequency. I know their heart and why they're coming here. So you be very conscientious and cautious about who you're allowing to tap into your energy, because not all is for the good per se.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Way to
And yeah, we've said that one before and we'll say it again and we'll keep saying it too.
Yeah,
So,
discernment.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of stuff is coming up about Atlantis, and I feel like there's a reason for that. And I just want to say what I feel like is happening is I'm doing the grid work is we are merging the Atlantean and Lemurian energies, right? So there was all this chaos and, you know, you had the fall of Atlantis and everything. But what I feel like is happening is the frequencies go up, is those are merging, right? Those two. So if you notice, like a lot of grid workers, what I'm seeing is, you know, like I'm on the East Coast, a lot of us are working that area. You know, Tanya's more, you know, on the West Coast, and there's a bunch of people working, you know, that piece of it. In part of the grid work, what I feel like is that there's something in there too that's coming together. That just popped in. So I wanted to say that.
Awesome. Norma, do you have anything you'd like to add?
As far as like when we was at Brasstown, and I was getting these images, it's amazing because what I was receiving is the images that they were choosing to show me. And that's the one thing that I can say is you can't question what you're being given unless it just doesn't feel right. If it doesn't feel right, yes, you need to question it, because if your body's going, that don't feel good, there's something about that just don't feel right, then that's when you need to use that discernment very much so. But the one thing is that because I've done so much work on myself, it was almost like discernment became a natural sense for me over time. Because when you get to know yourself and you're doing the work and you recognize and you're willing to admit to yourself, I'm that person. I was that person at one time. I was this person at one time. I know how that feels. I know that energy. So when you allow yourselves to be honest with yourself every single time when a mirror presents itself to you, and you don't judge it, you just recognize it and you say, I know what that person is going through. I don't know specifically what is causing what they're going through because I'm not them, but I know what they're going through because I know that emotion. I know that feeling. I know that frequency. I know that energy because I was it. So as you are more honest with yourself, discernment becomes more easier to come about when you're interacting with everyday people.
Yeah.
Just like TANJA says, we're all here having our own experience individually from a collected whole, the one. And that's the beauty of all this, is when you can see that and when you ultimately understand that and you know that and you interact with other people, it becomes more joyous. It becomes more fulfilling. You have more gratitude and appreciation for those experiences because it helps you see who you are ultimately. And it tells you about all the positive aspects about yourself that you'd never heard before, because then you're feeling those aspects instead of looking for somebody to tell you.
Yes. It's all about how do you feel? How do things make you feel? Your body. So our mind, we've been so programmed to be in our minds. And I'll say it again. I say it all the time, but you know, I don't know who's in the chat that's new, but your brain is like a CPU and your subconscious is the programming. From age 1 to 7, your subconscious picks up millions of pieces of information per second. Even today it does that. But at that point, from 1 to 7 is your main programming. And then everything else that happens after that is compared to that programming. So if you want to change your life, you need to do things differently, push past that comfort zone, because your subconscious is just trying to keep you safe. Oh, we don't know that. Oh, that's not our belief because that's not how we were raised. Push past that and find on the other side that freedom that you've been looking for. because that's where it's sitting. Cindy's asking here, may I ask if I'm buried there from Atlantis times? I'm curious about all that, Thomas.
Yeah, you're in the middle of the ocean, though. You're on the ocean floor.
Yeah. You might want to book a session with Thomas.
Yeah, you're on the ocean.
Yeah. That brings me to mind, Thomas, you have a special event happening. Do you want to share about it?
Yeah, Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to have a past lifetime class. It's on Zoom. It's on my website, thomassawyer.com. It's just explaining how past lifetimes and karma and all those things interact with each other. I mean, I'm still working the class out. I usually do that with any class till right before the class, but I don't know if it's going to be 2 hours or 4 hours. It's still recorded. If people want a copy of it, they still get a copy. But if you just go to my website, it just says past lifetime 2-hour Zoom class, thomassawyer.com.
Yeah, awesome. So go check that out if you're interested. It's a special rate for everyone here. Do you find a greater level? Oh, do find a greater level of gratitude. Turn off all your power electricity for a day. Wow. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah. Yeah. And Peyton says Brasstown Bald is only 80 miles from me. Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go see if you can find my grid plant there.
And we saw what we thought was a landing. We forgot to bring that up, a landing thing on the top, right? A ship, like a campground on the top of that. Yeah.
That was the other mountain.
It was Yona Mountain. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the other one. Absolutely. Yeah. And it was. Oh yeah, totally was. You could see it was a big clearing at the top with trees all around it. Oh, this is for camping. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I'm like, we got company.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. All right, you guys have any more questions? A podcaster I watched was going to do motocross and I got the feeling he was going to get hurt. I didn't know if I should have told him not to go. He had an accident and was killed. Yeah, that's a hard one because you have to remember, yeah, you couldn't necessarily have done anything. And yeah, 17Q ship landing for sure. You couldn't have done anything. This is the hard part. Like I ask all the time, oh, can I say something? Nope. Okay, I don't say anything because we're not supposed to interfere. Yeah, that was his path. He was meant to go then that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Norma.
No, you're good. No, go ahead.
Sorry. What I'm just being led to say. So a lot of times when I bring people to the other side and they talk to people directly, not through me, but directly and interact with people that have crossed over, they just like we hold on to so much in this lifetime from people and traumas and stuff that have happened. And I understand that we've all been through it, but still, like when they talk to them, they always are asking for forgiveness. Like, yeah. It's like they didn't see the full picture till they got over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's, it's like, and quite often, so one of the things I did during so I was told, observe everything, go deep, go observe it, don't absorb it. And I did. And so I've got it all. And what was fascinating for me was watching some of the NDEs so that I could better understand that transition, because that's important to me because I've done it before and I help people cross too. But what is beautiful is, their stories resonate. Like when you listen to them, you're like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense. But until you hear it, you don't know. So when you don't have that information put in front of you, you don't have enough about it. You don't know. But once you know, you can't unknow it. You just can't unknow it. These are the things that we're being, brought here to do. So,
yeah.
And I just want to see, there was another quick question on here. Dun-da-da. About, Devil's Tower. Thomas, do you know about Devil's Tower?
They don't want me to touch that.
Okay.
That's a tree, I think. Devil's Tower in Wyoming. That's a tree. I think.
I don't like trees.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot of energy around that for sure. I've traveled there.
Is it still, Thomas, or is it being cleared?
I don't know if they can clear it. I'm sure it could. Anything could be cleared, but I don't know. Like with this, as soon as the guys are like, no.
Okay, no worries. All right. We'll let you know when it's free and clear,
Yeah.
because it will be at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys are doing great. I'm so proud of all of you in the chat. I love seeing how much you've been doing and the work you've been doing. It's so much fun. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, the color of a person's skin is no more insignificant than the color of the eyes. Absolutely. Yeah. Kadhafi says, do you think we have telepaths predicting crimes just like in the movie The Minority Report? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. We also can talk telepathically. Lenny Levette asked, was I Noah Webster?
The problem that sometimes comes with this is we can be direct incarnates of other people, but sometimes we're picking up fractals of them.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some connection there.
Yeah, there's some connection.
Yeah. I have a serious perfectionist son with a golden heart who's been through a lot, being baxed, injured as a child. I shared many things with him on raising his vibration. Yeah, absolutely. How can I help? Love him where he is.
Yeah.
Lead by example. And when he's ready, he'll open up to you. But when we try and push information on someone, they're going to resist, especially you, mom. So I have a 17-year-old daughter, and all I could do was hold the space, and keep being me, keep speaking around it. And she's half the time I hear downstairs in the living room and I'm on a call with them. She's like, and she's got a comment for something I'm saying. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's always listening, which is a good thing. Yeah. So yeah, just keep loving him where he is. And when he's ready for help, hooking him up with a male figure might be helpful. Somebody like Thomas, because quite often it's easier to connect that way. And Kadhafi says, am I Lumerian? I think we were all Lumerian at one point.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think so. Atlantean too, a lot of us.
Yeah. I think
Probably been everything at this point.
yeah.
I think that's the beauty of the soul. The
Yeah.
one experience, everything. I mean, so many people are so concerned with dark and light, but and I get it, but at the same time, we've all experienced all these different things.
Absolutely.
Part of our soul's evolution.
Janny M13 has a good question, Thomas. On May 31st, my mother passed away. My question is, what was wrong with her? Hospital could not find anything. She had much pain.
Jesus. Sorry.
That's okay.
I could feel that.
Yeah.
The best thing I would tell you to do, dear, with me is schedule a session for that, because I could just have you talk to herself.
Perfect.
Like I can do the
Isn't that
mediumship
beautiful?
where I can talk for them, but I'd rather you just talk to them yourself.
Yeah, that would be really good. And it's super beautiful when you get to that point. So yeah. And Cindy says, I see light inside everyone. Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. That is the main goal. And once you do that that's when you get to that beautiful neutrality, and it's this nice vibration that just feels, it's very peaceful. It's very loving. It's very kind. Yeah. And you do things. I was riding my bike the other day, and there's a woman on the side of the road with her like really young son. He was maybe 7 or 8. And there's this really old Stairmaster. She's looking at the Stairmaster, and she's looking at the back of her car, and she's looking as I'm riding by. I'm like, oh yeah. So I stopped and helped her, and she was so grateful. And I'm like, so I'm just curious, who's going to use it more, you or your son? Because we kind of gave her it. People pick these things up and then they never use it. Yeah, she's like, oh, I think both. So I was like, oh, good. I look forward to hearing, noticing that you use it. Yeah. Have you ever heard of a cherub seraph hybrid being?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of mixtures in there. So
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to use the Christian theology version, but I mean, it does work though, I'm hearing. It explains the different levels, but in a way they're saying, but still, yeah, there can be so many. You could be a mixture of ET and angelic and Anunnaki, and I know that Anunnakis get a very bad rap for good or bad reasons, but
Still is.
You can be mixed into all those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Okay, guys. And no. Here's a question about how do we get a Dead Sea in Saskatchewan, Lake Manitoba? Oh. How salt? It's a salt point then, right? It's a salt lake. Think Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And so it's coming up from the ground, no? Like it's yeah. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, we're just going to take a couple more and we're going to get buttoned up here. Let everyone get outside and get in nature for their day.
Outdoor, yeah, get outdoors. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so DL3373, my doctor told me I have essential tremors. My hands shake. Can you help me? Let's say go plant your hands on earth. That's the first thing I got. Thomas?
Yeah, it can be helped. It's just sometimes it takes one session, sometimes it takes 4, sometimes it takes a couple of different healers to work on you. I mean, I've had very good success with all kinds of medical elements and spiritual elements.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's completely done in one, and then it's just it's what I mean. I said this on another one, but I saw a guy that he would go in a room full of people, and all he would do was hold his hands together and pray. And like some people would be completely healed, some people would be 10% healed, some people would be 40% healed.
Depends on the person and how they're vibrating and willing to accept the healing.
Yeah.
And sometimes part of our soul path is to learn how to heal ourselves. So diet, I don't know where your diet's at, but I always say start with diet, cut out wheat, dairy, sugar, and legumes, including peanuts and peanut butter, and see how you feel in a month to 6 weeks and let us know. I would definitely say getting out in nature and planting your hands. And you can say, my hands are healing every day. Ask your guides for help. Put your hands in the air. Guides, please help heal my hands. And find stuff to be grateful for so you shift that vibration within your body as well. So I don't know if something specific started to cause it. Was there an event? Have you locked that event now in your body? And this is the result of that. That's generally how it would happen. Yeah. Yeah, grounding, walk on the beach. You know, the beach is really good. So the beach is, think about the sand. You're totally recharging yourself lying in the sun in the sand. I mean, I wouldn't do it for hours, but half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour. Absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say, if she's concerned or anyone's concerned about how people are going to view you, don't be, because I've seen this, so I don't even know how to explain it. I've seen this so many different times. People are so concerned with how people view them. I don't really care about this on certain levels, because it's like in 15 minutes, if you're led somewhere, go. But in 15 minutes, they're going to forget you ever existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, soul treats could be a trapped emotion. Yes, that's what we were just saying. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's do some parting last words. Start with you, Tracy. What would you like to let everyone know? Maybe something around the ley lines and sending you information?
Yeah, just everybody just get out and connect with the land and connect with each other. I think that's the biggest thing coming in right now for raising the vibration and setting intention. And you just, we always say, you just do you, right? As Norma always says, it's true. You just, you go inside and you do what makes you happy and what brings you joy. That's the big message right now. So that's kind of my parting word.
Absolutely. Norma?
Yeah, of course, just do you. It's just like, what's important is what's going to bring you joy. And definitely, if you find that joy, share it. Share it with other individuals. Share it with being outside. Share it with the trees. The trees have much to tell us. The trees have always got something to tell us. Sit with a tree. Talk to a tree. Become... find you a favorite tree and go to it every day. And while you're sitting there, be grounding. You'd be surprised that you'll feel the vibrations between the two. So, and as always, let it begin with me, always and always.
Absolutely. Thomas?
I'm trying to think. I'd say the same thing.
Yeah.
If you're being led somewhere, go. Don't be afraid of the consequences of what other people are going to think about you or any of that kind of stuff. Or your parents or your family. It's a
Yeah.
little darker, but I mean, at the end of the day, we go into the ground. So it's like live your life to the fullest potential you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everybody's putting in some good messages too. So Cindy says, yeah, don't care what anyone else says. And then Cindy says, give them some. I say, give them something to talk about. At least they're responding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to be the crazy person dancing in my car as I'm driving. I do all kinds of things. And Lindy Levette says a giant sequoia tree recently told me it was lonely. Yeah, they are, because nobody hangs out with them. Yeah, yeah. And Thomas has his event on Sunday if you guys want to check in. What was the price on that one again, Thomas?
I believe it's 71 if I remember
71
right.
US. So very
Yeah.
good deal for this. Yeah. And it's something you
Past
get the
lifetime
recording.
class,
Yeah.
just explaining all this stuff about past lifetimes. I'm still working it all out, but I do that with every class. But yeah, I do them every week, and it's just thomassawyer.com, and it's a 2-hour Zoom class. It could be 4 hours at this point. I don't know, but it still be recorded regardless. I'm getting 2 to 3 hours probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. I love you guys. We love you all. Without you being here, what are we doing here? Right? Absolutely. And 71, thank me, or 17. Thanks, 17Q. I just want to remind everyone you're exactly where you're supposed to be. What can you control? What can you do? And don't be afraid to talk and reach out to other people and find your tribe, so to speak, right? Get onto our Telegram group. We're all there to support each other. Thomas now has a Telegram group, which is super exciting. Yeah, Tracy now has a Telegram. Norma, you're next. No. Norma's we're hanging together. So yeah, and I will definitely be sharing in the future the different things that we will be creating as events in these circles for people. It's coming. It's coming. I can feel it building now. So Egypt, I have Vedette again in mid-September, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, I think. And then we'll be going to Egypt. And that's October 7th. Now we're adding another version to Egypt. We're doing a 4,444 for the 7 days of getting into the pyramids, having the healing, and then going to the Red Sea. So if that's calling for you and you can't get the full 2 weeks, then definitely reach out, and you'll be seeing more on that coming out. So yeah, absolutely. Perfect. All right, you guys have a beautiful day. I love you all. Thank you all for coming and playing today. Yeah, our own little like sandbox here where we get to play and play off each other. It was really beautiful, and I just really appreciate you all. So, and appreciate everyone watching. So replay will be up in just a few minutes. So have a beautiful rest of your day and get out in nature. I know I am.